Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Lecturer of Public Speaking and my friend who I am proud of. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. We can attend this virtual meeting in good healthy. My name is Fitriana Rahayu with my ID number is 2021222032. On this occasion, I will explain the material regarding informative speech. Okay, before we are going to the material, I will present a list of my material on this time. The first material is about definition and purpose of informative speech. The second, the strategies or approaching for defining information are available to the informative speech speaker. The third is the ways a speaker helps the audience comprehend the message. The fourth is kinds of subject matter that can be addressed in an informative speech. And the last is key points to keep in mind while creating an informative speech. Okay, let's move to the first material, that is definition and purpose of informative speech. Is definition. The informative speech is a way to teach, to inform, to educate, and transfer a message from a speaker to an audience. Informative speeches need to be credible, knowledgeable, and to the point. The second, the purpose of informative speech. There are those who say that one of the goals of an informative speech is to enhance the understanding of the audience. Another goal of an informative speech is to maintain the interest of the audience. A final goal of the informative speech is for the audience to remember the speech. The purpose of an informative speech is to share information that, the first, increases audience understanding around a topic. The second, provides an alternative, and the last is raises awareness. The second material is about the strategies or approaching for defining an informative speech speaker. Strategies or approaches for defining information are available to the informative speech speaker. I want to tell you the tips. The first one is make it simple. The way you can make it simple is, first, do not make the presentation complicated. Second, make it simple and understandable. Third, use relevant and easy examples to keep audience focused. The second way is avoid unnecessary jargon. First, avoid technical terms and jargons. And the second is avoid idioms, use clear sentence. Using clear and relate image. The way you can using clear and relate image is, the first one, use visual aids to help make the presentation speech memorable and informative. People like seeing image, it keeps the attention of the audience intact. The second is different kind of charts and pictures can be used to make it less boring. The last way is making it memorable. The way you can make it memorable is, the first, use relevant and interesting way to keep the audience focused. Second, include the audience during the presentation, ask questions, and make it interactive. Let's move to the third material. It's about the ways a speaker helps the audience comprehend the message. Three strategies you can do to get the audience attention while presentation. The first is, don't just stay in one position, so you must move. The second is, make presentation interactive. And the last is, tell a compelling story. So you can give the example about the story. There are four basic reasons to use presentation aids. The first is they increase audience understanding of the speaker's message. The second is they help audiences retain and recall all speakers' message after the fact. The third is they make a speech more interesting by adding variety. And the last is by making a speaker's overall speech more polished. Presentation aids can increase an audience perception of the speaker's credibility. Ways a speaker helps the audience comprehend the message is through presentation aids who can help audiences more thoroughly understand a speaker's basic message. Presentation aids help an audience more clearly understand a speaker's message in two ways. The first is they help clarify and they help emphasize. Presentation aids can help the audience to understand complex ideas or process and can also show which ideas are most important in the speech. The next is utilizing devices to enhance audience understanding. The first way is visual aids such as graphs, handouts, slideshow presentation, and objects can help audiences understand complicated subjects. The second is a podium. A podium can help the presenters provide the audience with necessary information on a topic by offering a place for the speaker to have cue card or scripts. The third is a microphone is a good way to make sure that everyone in the audience hear the presentation properly. And the last is a video screen is good way to make sure the audience can see the entire presentation in a large venue. Okay, let's move to the fourth material. It's about kinds of subject matter that can be addressed in an informative speech. Subject matter of informative speeches. The first one is speeches about objects. Speeches about objects convey information about any non-human material things, mechanical objects, animals, plants, and fictional objects are all suitable topics of investigation. The second is speeches about people. Speeches about people focus on real or fictional individuals who are living or dead. These speeches require in-depth biographical research. The third is speeches about concepts. Speeches about concepts are less concrete and speeches about objects or people, as they focus on ideas or notions that may be abstract. A concept can be familiar to us, like equality, or could literally be a foreign concept like QI, which is the Chinese conception of the energy that flows through of our bodies. The fourth is speeches about events. Speeches about events focus on the past occasion or ongoing occurrence, like a particular day in history, an annual observation, or a seldom occurring event can each serve as interesting informative topics. As with speeches about people, it's important to provide a backstory for the event, but avoid rehearsing commonly known information. The fifth is speeches about process. Informative speeches about process is provide a step-by-step account of the procedure or natural occurrence. Speakers may walk an audience through or demonstrate a series of actions that take place to complete a procedure. And the last is speeches about issues. Informative speeches about issues provide objective and balanced information about a dispute, subject, or a matter of concern from society. It is important that speakers view themselves as objective reporters rather than commentators to avoid tipping the balance of the speech from informative to persuasive. Okay, let's move to the example of informative speeches. The first category is about speeches about objects. The examples is like Siliwangi University, Grand Canyon, Borobudur Temple, musical, and instrument. The second is speeches about people. The examples is J.K. Rowling, Chris Evans, and Taylor Swift. The third is speeches about concepts. The example is human rights, religious freedom, and how gravity works. The fourth is speeches about events like World Cup, an annual professional convention, and World Environment Day. The next is speeches about process. It's like how to apply for a scholarship, how to expand your business, and tips for a successful career. The last is speeches about issues. The example is impact of global warming or impact of politics on economy. The next material is about key points to keep in mind while creating an informative speech. Okay, some key points to keep in mind while creating an informative speech. The first is choose the right topic. What we exactly mean is if there is a way to take a more general topic and narrow it down to more specific term. Follow that path. The second is develop an effective thesis statement. With a topic you are passionate about, it's time to craft a thesis statement. If you get it right, your thesis statement will summarize your entire speech in one short sentence. It doesn't have to be dry either. The third is consider your crowd. This one may seem like common sense, but it's more than just choosing the right topic. It's true that you wouldn't deliver an informative speech on the V8 engine of a Cobra to be classroom full of blending beauticians. But there's more to consider that appropriate tense. Fourth is start your outline. Armed with your thesis statement and a clear vision of your crowd, it's time to start taking everything you want to say and lining it up in a clear and concise manner. If you'd been able to take your topic to more specific terms, you are already one step ahead of the game. And the last is end with a call to action. Most articles and essays end with a call to action. An informative essay is, of course, different than a persuasive essay. But if your topic is interesting enough, it will be necessary and teach the audience to want to learn more. So, the conclusion. The informative speech is a way to teach, to inform, to educate, and transfer a message from a speaker to an audience. Informative speeches need to be credible, knowledgeable, and to the point. In an informative speech, your goal as a speaker is to provide your audience with information about a topic they are unfamiliar with, or to provide more information about a topic with which they are already familiar. This distinction is important because the key to a successful information speech is to understand how much your audience already knows about the topics in question. Informative speeches must be carefully calibrated to audience's level of understanding. I think it's all from me. Thank you very much for your nice attention. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.